Welcome to a healthy living video blog at workoutmaster.com. This is Ruben.
And that's Aram.
Today we're going to talk about high fructose corn syrup. It's been in our food since 1970s. It's been screwing with our health for pretty much the same time. Before we do that, our next episode, we're going to talk about what do you think? We're going to answer some questions that one of our listeners asked from Denmark. And it has something to do with what Ray Pete thinks about some things and what Paul Check thinks about some things. So it should be interesting. Stay tuned. But let's hear about high fructose corn syrup. Mr. Serrano, what's your opinion?
I would call it high garbage.
Okay.
And you can pretty much see linked already, the amount of obesity and how the steady line of obesity has climbed in this country and other countries alike that use that raw material to sweeten food, and you can see a direct relationship of how the more high fructose corn syrup that we have used and how the obesity line and the population is climbing in the same direction.
Absolutely. Well, if you go on internet and type in high fructose corn syrup, you're gonna see quite a lot of information. Some of this information supported, promoted by different organizations that have a lot of money invested in these things.
That's correct.
Now, high fructose corn syrup is extremely processed substance. So it actually, when you look at a cornfield, you don't think that it is a sugar. Yeah?
That's right.
You don't get like sweet tooth from looking at a cornfield.
I think popcorn.
Popcorn, there you go. So it sounds like a better thing to do out of the corn, but some genius figured out how to make some sugar out of it.
Yeah.
Now, it does take quite a lot of stages. It's a very complex procedure. If you're interested in more details, I don't want to go into the details, truly, because it's not really my specialty either. But what's important to understand that even after investment of processing this stuff, it is still cheaper than regular sugar. That is why it's on the market. That is why it's widely used. And one of the advantages of it, that it is actually very easy to transport. It looks good in the baked goods. It keeps them kind of moist.
Yeah.
And it's just easy. It's easy for the people who make the stuff. It has nothing to do with your health, guys. It has everything to do with how much money people make and how easy it is for them. It'll be easy for them if you'll be sick and half alive and keep begging for some drugs that are going to come on the market.
And also because corn, as you will definitely probably know, is heavily subsidized by the government. So that's one of the main reasons why you will see in the market shelves, a lot cheaper than regular sugar.
Absolutely. So it's not a big issue. The subsidies that government gives to corn, and basically pretty much to 4 companies. 85% of high fructose corn syrup are concentrated within the 4 companies. You can name them, but it really truly doesn't matter. It's almost $3 billion business. It's huge. People make a lot of money on this. Now, to make that thing nice, short, and sweet, this is the issues that I personally have with a high fructose corn syrup. Number 1, most corn in the United States is genetically modified. I do not want to participate in consumption of genetically modified food.
I agree.
Okay. Now, number 2, one of the reasons is because we truly don't know what the effects are, and if I think about it, effects are pretty horrendous. So I don't really need the studies to come out at some point and say that we're gonna die of something. Okay, number 2, the problem I have with the high fructose corn syrup is it is heavily processed. And if you listen to any of our episodes, we always say, if it wasn't here 10,000 years ago, don't consume it. If it's denatured, don't consume it. Each product that you put in your body, if you expect it to give you life, it has to have some sort of life force. Now, when you take corn and other corn creates sugar through some genius process of, enzymatic, different 3-stage, 4-stage process, I don't care. I don't want it in my body.
Absolutely. Just because it's cheap and it's accessible, it doesn't mean that I want it. It's enough of a reason for me to really look at it in closer detail and see, you know, the whole science behind it, you know, that it actually be malignant to your health, and make a decision right there on the spot because this is not what I want to consume. As you know, every single morsel of food that you put in your body is gonna be converted into replacing some type of a cell. It could be in your eye, it could be in your brain, it could be in your toenail. It don't matter. But if you know that you're actually eating something that can actually damage your chromosomes, would you put that in your body? It doesn't make sense at all. Not to mention, Aram, that corn is heavily, you know, pesticides.
Oh, yeah. Genetically modified, a lot of pesticides,
So,
horrendous for soil.
All that stuff
I mean,
ends up in your bloodstream, and that's the last thing that I want to put in my body.
A couple of more things. It doesn't. There's been studies done that it gets on the way of absorption of copper into your body, which is a serious issue, and tends to be high in mercury. Now, how much is that true? I don't know. I personally don't care. First two were enough. Actually, first was just enough for me not to
Absolutely.
consume it. Anything else you want to say about this?
I want to give them a little resource that if they want to, it's actually a fun video to watch, and it's called King Corn. And you can find the video, I think it's in YouTube and Google Video, and it's, or you can rent it. And Netflix also, for that matter, has it, not that I have to, you know, mention any company. But check it out, read into it. They do a pretty banged up job to actually see how the corn syrup is subsidized, how it's processed, what it yields, and the kind of, you know, catastrophic effects that it has in the economy of this country.
Absolutely. The whole subject of conversation that high fructose corn syrup, since it's mostly fructose, does not affect your insulin levels. I personally don't care. If it's genetically modified, highly processed,
Absolutely.
it's not on my plate. That's it. It's a done deal. If you choose to consume it, you're probably going to pay the price, hopefully. You're not going to consume it, and if you're not going to consume it, then your future going to look better. Thank you very much for watching. Ruben, you have anything else?
That's it.
All right, guys, have a beautiful day. We'll talk to you next time.